Hi guys, welcome back to my channel guys. If you want to see how I made this tasty delicious oxtail stew, please stay tuned. So guys, for this recipe I'm using onions and garlic, paprika and hot chili powder, mixed seasoning and thyme, ginger, sweet potato, carrot, Maggi, salt, Nigerian dry chili, fresh tomato, red bell pepper, yellow bell pepper and green bell pepper, chopped tomato, tomato paste and oxtail. Okay, now we are going to season our oxtail because we're going to season it and set it aside for a couple of hours before we start cooking this oxtail. So I'm going to pound my garlic. Okay, now after pounding my garlic, we're going to add the seasoning in the oxtail. Okay, so I'm going to add 2 scoops of thyme, 2 scoops of mixed seasoning, 2 scoops of ginger, 2 scoops of paprika, 2 scoops of hot chili, 1 scoop of salt, 1 scoop of Nigerian dry chili. I'm going to add 4 Maggi. You can use beef cube or you can use those beef cup, yeah, so you can use any of the beef cube seasoning of your choice. I'm going to be using Maggi cube seasoning, so I'm adding 4. Now I'm going to add my pounded garlic. I'm going to mix everything together. So I'm going to cover and put in the fridge for about 2 hours or 3 hours. You can leave it longer. You can do this overnight. The longer you leave it, the better. Guys, while we're waiting for our meat, we're going to start cutting all our vegetable. We have loads of vegetable to cut. So we're going to cut the onions, the tomato, the peppers. So we're going to cut our carrot and sweet potato. I'm going to slice the onions. So guys, this is after 3 hours. I allowed it to sit in the fridge for 3 hours and now we are ready to start cooking this oxtail. Like I said, you can leave this longer. You can leave 5 hours, 6 hours. You can leave it overnight, whichever one that suits you. You can leave it as long as you want. So now we are now ready to start cooking our oxtail. So guys, over in the pot I am going to add a bit of olive oil. I forgot to mention that I'll be using olive oil. So we have added our olive oil and I'm going to allow it to heat up a bit. So now I'm going to start adding our meat inside the pot. So all we're going to do to this meat is brown it a bit. Just brown it a bit in the oil. I'm going to take it out of the oil. So guys, we are going to add our onions. We're going to allow the onions to simmer for like 2 minutes. It's good to use the same oil that you use for frying the meat, the same pot, because all the ingredients in the meat and all that are inside this oil. So you don't want to take the oil out and use another one. Use the same. Let all the ingredients simmer with your onions. So guys, after 2 minutes, I am going to add my tomato paste and my chopped tomato. So I'm adding my tomato paste. I'm going to try and squeeze out all of them. And I'm going to add my chopped tomato. Now I will allow it to simmer together for 5 minutes. So after 5 minutes, guys, it is time to add back our oxtail and add our fresh tomato and our minced bell peppers. Okay, I am going to put back my oxtail. I'm going to add my sliced tomato. I'm going to add my peppers. Okay, remember this our bowl that we use for marinating our meat. Yeah, I am going to rinse it because there's loads of seasoning in it. So I'm going to rinse it and I'm going to put it inside the pot. So I'm going to add the water inside the pot. I'm going to add a bit more water. I'm going to taste it for Maggi and salt. But there is no Maggi and salt. I'm going to add a bit of salt. And I'm going to add 1 Maggi. Okay. Okay, now I am going to cover, and this will take a while. We might be cooking this meat for like 2 hours. We need to cook it until it is tender and soft. So guys, this is my sweet potato. I have cut and washed it. I am going to just pre-boil it for like 10 minutes. I just want to do this step because I don't want to add it directly inside the oxtail stew and let it add extra thickening that I don't want, because I just don't want the potato to thicken the stew. This is why I'm doing this step. If you don't mind it, you don't have to do this step if you want the extra thickening inside the stew. Okay, we're just gonna boil it for like 10 minutes. So guys, after 2 hours, I am going to check if the meat is soft. Oh yeah, it is very soft now. Oh. Yeah, it is very soft, and guys, it is tender and it is super juicy. Now we are now going to add our sweet potato and our carrot. I'm going to add it, and I'm going to add my carrot, and I'm going to mix. And guys, remember when I was making this at the beginning of making this sauce, I did not add too much olive oil. I only added a bit but you have to know that oxtail has its own oil. It's very fattening and very oily. And even when I was buying the meat at the butcher, I asked the guy to help me trim off the excess fat and just leave a little bit of fat on it. So yes, but still, you still get a lot of oil on them. I'm gonna try and see if I can scoop out some of the oil out of it. So guys, this is the amount of oil I took out of it. Can you imagine if I did not ask the guy at the butcher to help me trim out some of the fat? It would have been so oily. But there is no two ways around oxtail. Oxtail is very fatty meat anyway. So now guys, I'm going to add a little bit of water because I feel like it is super thick. I'm going to taste for Maggi and salt. Everything is perfect. I don't need to add any Maggi and I don't need to add any salt. It is all perfect. I'm gonna cover this and give it another 5 minutes and this food is ready. So guys, it is time to take our oxtail stew out of the stove. I said I'm going to leave it for 5 minutes before, but after 5 minutes I checked the carrot, it was still a bit hard and I left it for a bit more 5 minutes. So it is time to take it off the stove now. So guys, we are done with this wonderful recipe guys. Look at the richness of this food. Okay, we are absolutely done and the aroma is to die for. So we cooked this meat for about 2 hours and plus, let's say 2 hours and 15 minutes or 2 hours and 20 minutes. But yes, the aroma that is coming out from this pot of oxtail stew is something else. So we are absolutely done. I can't wait to dive in guys. I can't possibly wait. It is super tasty guys. So this is where today's video is going to end. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe guys. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. If you love food recipes, mukbang and everything that has to do with food related. And guys, this is where this wonderful recipe is going to end and I will see you guys on my next one. Bye.